Will afternoon will more arbek la other kuy. El alsil sing April 22, 2025, sorry. Idang artial Saralite Office ra Senate at 12 olbira kalulaw. El girela confirmation hearing ra presidential appointee ra Miss Jennifer Olegeriil. El mo serve al Minister Justice Republic of Palau. El gilultuir sel Senate Resolution number 12-29. Mungultur siyak mo mkodongi as Chairman Judiciary Governmental Affairs ak mo mkodongi tial confirmation hearing el mora order al mo mol. Miss Olegeriil marbeklat iswakal mo mabi tetela order el afternoon. Madingela sing gade batemed and di kita malas maximize sel time el Olegeriil del mortial confirmation hearing. Magote en sokali o ais el mo introduce tirgal rogul senators at ngakal senators at tirang artiang. Auriu rak mo olingit terkaw makamo o dulia kirdebel 5-minute el opening statement terkaw. After siya kada mo a question and answer. Auriu rak question and answer kada mo mga simertial confirmation hearing. Magote ang kleka Siegfried Nakamura Besel Senator, Chairperson at 12 Committee ra Judiciary and Governmental Affairs. At yang lobanggeda nga ringi at ngakal President ra Senate Hokon Paules. Direkal nga tiyang Vice President ra Senate Senator Dr. Stevenson Cuarte. Direkal nga tiyang Floor Leader Senate Mr. Senator Karay Mariur. Direkal nga tiyang members sa committee mga ringi at ngakal Senator Mark Werbalaw Rudim. Senator Lenzer Basilius, Senator Cecily Eldabel, direkal nga tiyang aringi Senator Rugupay Inabo, Senator Taps Sungino, Senator Mason Ngirapang Whips, direkal nga tiyang Senator DJ Imbrur Masaw, direkal nga Senator Ann Pedro, direkal nga tiyang Senator Tawalwal, yang artiya nga Senator Talams. Asal mo mure ki 14 ang artiya roguy, ang imol Senator Malayre, ang omrolen nga ikrel belaw, almel belaw, mula kasi elme, hindi nga nga teelel mo mesartial el confirmation hearing na review. Makmul mo sa igid teera rogul committee ra JGA, kurang asulem menaminin bas emelmel el afternoon. Kung meron kasi malimis ra amsera datial Saralite Office, both nga gallery, madiregal nga laulal, di kaya kung may sertira taptor tira abam, madiregal adam na lolobong game. Makmana nga suliw ro kul bekla ro kul mler el afternoon. Yak mga ulal lo silo korakaw makamodulia 5 minutes el opening statement tarakaw.
Manusaw le chairman, malungil itasil sa almora Presidenta Senate, President Paules, Vice President Dr. Stevenson Cuarte, Floor Leader Karay Mariur, Chairman ng Committee JGA Senator Nakamura, Marbekal Dala Committee, Marbekal Senator sa ngartyang. Ako takmal mereng asaula al girela el alsil sa al nosab iwil el kuk schedule el confirmation hearing mo ringa tele dal kuk may aabangan le mo kada nga baby lato ko maudas o maulung ule dal girela to ko law enforcement na balur belaw yaw era kulmon medik ay amarak talagi beldir gam nomere kasmer at tret makurang ring aklak ma sumakora mo klukle mo subes nga ka Jennifer Serang Olegeriil 56 argik ka mla orior public service al combination already kara Ministry of Justice makoro state government al over 32 years al ngara medro sisul tretal to law enforcement ma security ma protection both natural resources ma persons and property pekpating ela to el gora mo kang gestering ya to law enforcement ma security abalu ma daw ba ma krensela abalu belaw akmal dire kan mereng asule la klaw merang ara other not mage om dasot mula seng la sabi kal bukmakut maklita gi dulurior ma akmereng asaw ler segi da klaw merang dire kal ngatiang el dire kal kora no kiwa ababilnger ma ogiwa galuriol bla mesa kal ngaringi yak dire kal ilmegu kol ol talwasay altan sibil masasegi dalo sisiw klaw merang al momangat mok pataluriol nga hamdingat masitya mal klaw tutelele klaw emering al ngara ending al sira gagi del over 32 years ra public service nga enti yak plaringi tokora law enforcement tokora security o tutelala mang akmalat kalwasay over the years black develop ayel black sub tokara adal black uriol abantarir el malmadu aurior ayel black sub el kukmodo el ayel sesel gudangay el sabi el mo ngaring yak kukmul meratebla al tan sabi kal bring value to the table lagi way gigid el progressive development nga over the years el ngaring abo el ethering value el muray galurior el bangal al girela klagarngel maututela la rablur belaw gida dikyat al balul magda diomes kagre balwat kada diga ngero guy kada diomes abatokol ngara mangarang makadam dange tokora drax al teligibel pronounced clol pronounced present seringira a community seringira igal different sector sergid kada mesa tokora human trafficking el dire kan mo pronounced ay gagi teligibel advanced crimes and not necessarily bled albangara 10 15 20 years ago amla mustat el boringia presence ng domestic belaw clol possibility el linked el more organized crime ay gayid maybe hindi mla kadasal el bangara 20 years ago di el ang kadam mo el bangal emla mo gida dalo mesa sing makarang at audio el tmak elo oge the resources sergi the network el kutmok lay mga ka ngatyang el loldar ser nga kalogi waklaw marang el mung aksa mariar el egamita del mortal nga ala al sumo ko maskak segi da klaw marang kami diak ngatyang al yak sol wasak mo nge solve our whole problems malubek solve ringil overnight ding sabi el kamit el fulil wasay akpong yak mo uriol gil loban trit tigero ul gire kal bakal uriol loban trit adal al sela uriol adal ngara ulbira kalulaw adal ngara ay galbat kal ministry ma community mar kloba kamar LDBL lo mesel waseng makarang adal talgib lo gedid a solution sal muraygal al crimes el mlat mo so is padrang aklet nato malaklang ang alget segi da commitment trangak akamit el mo oriolo bantira rokul adam morset kurabal sabet el tan sabedal ko ngatal bakas el towards a solution sal sabedal el mutmakro kuye wala balol taw trage moringi ang hangat yang akna submit responses nga kal morigel questions ra committee yang atyang al kaltmok elaborate maluwa kung ngirangi dil other additional questions ako mal masaul et alteal
Malusole namin ni mengultura utemelala ara blur belaw president tamlo dersangklim elatiang awal walela sel el process ra amo rela senate el advice and consent Malaway mo open na ulo mga rogul senators makmamura members ra committee masumariya questions sabi ilogir. Yang ako ulngit namin nila si kamot kurpa pa sabi and malas and say questions ra our senator. Sulang. Yaka member ra committee nga question na Senator Olegeriil.
Sulangi chairman malungili tasis mereka Miss Olegeriil. Ako te kadambrenga sula president el direct el koramlete gatal gibel tamel lo sigra adal mortal position ra Minister of Justice. Finally le decided na se kawa alasab mortal lurgor. Umrak na sing alam level tuira silwal extensive background ra toralo enforcement kamlang ra Bureau of Public Safety lem kategatal time and at some point kamno the deputy director direct amlang ra tele law enforcement ra or state el mal mo kategatal time direct mal domesa result ra remembra or state mal al productive ma direct mal la develop tirgal guk ngara state level el mal mo CC already sel domesra ablur belaw tial Ministry of Justice kumda sa taramal klol al banglel sel legal to radrax tial problem radrax kumesa kel response ka ngarcel al number 5 question and di ko only itik na sense el mutual ko elaborate malum expand o sige melgirel tial situation radrax belaw kada madingek na sing melmutrel all time dirga klo other nga sedel na sing mal di kaloral mo gikarate tial situation radrax sa tigal nga ligeda dimla mo o so is browse pala radrax na affect not only the families ma direct igel potential future tirgal al magikarel ngal karbelaw sel bolsis brigay del teletail sabi del sedak na set kada jeopardize ra future pure belaw tirgay da dos pertil guk mo maigal drual ra kabalment ma torasyo bay rangal madadal time alakal al gear themselves toward that direction bol los pe arwa darak set en tomal sel te little almo ngil ada taklab say magada kumulwa ise direkal ania other nga said that nasing even within the law enforcement tangania adadal our police ma adal nga law enforcement tel direkal potentially to involve ay gagidal operation malubang activities ruli del ko amosyo karmo dat nasing magarang abodadakal as a country the resolve RTL problem mang akora diso ka umlutol ko ra expand ra selom so dem el girel tiagi del guk isura to radrax el mani el proposal ra presidente mlamel walgora recommend that mase boda del mutu CC alla mang wal ngani sel gora zero tolerance ra nya to ra adal mo involve radrax sa dia kada tolerator tier especially tirgal nga law enforcement. Ding still in dirgal wal gora nga consequences sa sumukuk marula ko sa igid en kardirekal makasal adam ang momriger kita ko kosigar adal almo matiang adia kal kabakak kal monday ang daseng mal klo monday malos pera klol time maungil collaboration ra executive branch especially Ministry of Justice el Mauro Bangela olbida kalulaw mga nisi gid gora active engagement gid kada abol girel bekkal silsil do sa ngi edarlil mo bekkal silsil do sa ngi mabol sa elmral mo omolta mo visible aksyon ra kabilment gid el sa kadamral kambat tial tora drax lakato ka di ukti me toywi adu emro ukti iti la kamal al visible effort gid kumdas yung only then en CPL adal ngaray kay gid teletal mo aware kung si abelaw rangalel belaw ra leadership mo mutra maklomar magigari amla mo start dala kartial teletal en kada madangek na sing diakal lungila end result ringal sumo kada may mang manmol always sige kadim ulit sa PLM kadim mutul kadi expander selo sa malgiral tayo to kradas
Saula Senator Aldabel akmamlas mal longer til al questioner kawal al malyo sisul in the spirit regal responses nga kaya na indicate tara regal responses al wasaya regal set of questions are very much interlinked di akal sabi al solve a set of problems without addressing a set of problems at that area. So, saying that, telto ko na darak sa o sige karingi perhaps many years ago when I was at the operational levels, I would have probably looked at it in a different way. But over the years, el blada progress, el kukuramura policy development, mo sabi dal ngar segi dal level o mes, yung klaw marang aragi dal wasay, hindi akal sabi dal approach at tal issue na daraksel di one approach. It has to be holistic. It has to be a comprehensive, holistic approach. Gira dal o mes ay gero ku yel talang tingil el wasay. Ngarang ay gel gira dal address el areas المسبب collectively مطمق solve our problems. So we have to look at our borders. We have to look at customs border and protection control at our borders. What's coming in? How are our wangarang KCL border protection gid ngarang processes ringi? Are we working together? Gid man other customs, man immigration, man narcotics. Are we working together? Ngarang gaps or sale gid dal address. Gid dal omesa atokora legislative framework gid. Legislations, current legislations, stiff enough. Are the jail time and the penalties, are they stiff enough? المسبق act as deterrence المرارات لذو مس Dios issue الأذى repeat ay gal tokora drax makadadim lamom dingel kutarwataang. So kodo mesa luudul wasay, do we need to strengthen our laws and more really act as deterrence? Malakal nga rin repeat offenses are same people. We need to look at our schools. Little things like kodo sa tokora community wasay tamlamo tanamo ora schools as young as high school age kids amalal puff atom aral puff. So we need to look at even down to the level was saying ngarang SOPs or security ra campus. At what level are ngaring unauthorized vehicles al access sa campus ang ngaring access sa til murarangal ka. Kudo mes ka bring up persel tokora law enforcement ma adomes el cases ra drug use within the law enforcement family. Makadiri ka lomes al sila structure law enforcement tarigi dal wasay ngarang klelay gel ngaring la aliliak el guk address tirgel law enforcement tal mo involve raigang nga ka umrang kida umrang al kumulwasay tokora law enforcement we have to be held up to a different standard. Rarbekal adraurior kada umrang alwaysay ngod level of authority daw bang at ang law enforcement kada armed. We have the authority to detain people. We have the authority to osmaria the temporary gadong freedom ringi kada babos. So we sum kada ngar sige the level of authority, ya level of responsibility, accountability rigid agirel ngaraba para pipira profession. So saying that abal sela girel el equivalent al more sige the level of responsibility, accountability, ma expectations, adrablul gire lauriol ngaringi. Mga umarang alkmungidro kuila umarang alwaisay. Alkmulwaseng gire el hold our law enforcement people to a higher standard. Mingire el moringa ileak el guk domes saringil structure penalty. El waseng magarang kuk ta adresa itrigay el tira kuk morwep tersay. E magarang atong sutrir, magarang atong sutrir hindi gira dal remember el wasay akot el loyalty rigid moral na moral adal dingila oath el serve and protect our tir. Makado mesel kasi trigel adal ne swear el mo protect ay gigi dal lamal tirar ad. Ta up for that. Lang kada kay ngasew. Kada umbral wasa kada kay ngasew adang aring ator or tir. Ding gira dal remember wasa ako ta loyalty rigid ang morger. It's to the rule of law. Marcel oath el kawang ilu el mo serve. So in summary, Senator Aldabel, engire del lomes saringi era holistic approach, looking at our laws, looking at our traditional leaders, ang tamesoyis paluang arang kita lomes ay kalbul, el natmaw try kalbek kalbulu, and it has an effect. Aldabel, ang kuk magrada engage our state legislators, our state governors, magrada engage our letrige ang ara community level. So, tutelala, agire el ngaringi raising awareness ringi ada giril mom tenge alla what are the do's and the don'ts ngaramul madya. So there is no one way approach to this. We have to look at it from a holistic multiple approach.
Iti ako di mo last dal ko di follow up related number sa previous question. Miss Olegeriil mang kora di soal ngaw dasem girela umamdaswing given what you just responded girela say the wal holistic approach el girel tel tora drugs and not only on the issue of drugs ay gel ko pebir crime nga sila kal community sergi do you think lamo kora appropriate time sa bedel wado ko empower egal state government el mosib el guk builder sa igid el gukwal law enforcement capacity tin mosib el detail guk handle ay igid el wal migegar el crime egal go domestic violence ma ay igid el guk tol drug trafficking al sila egal communities wal sab el nga the empower egal state el mga niya capacity til sa el direct el respond el maray igid al crime. Kung das only then and start the expectra blue belaw ang blue belaw al utilize arokul resources sergid ma ngaligid al tira available maregal community sergid el mo join na away gagid el effort kada kambat ay gagid el toradro. Kasi ko di so kalmaw das nasa das it's appropriate time el dorungi. And if so, I thinking mo require ako some legislative amendment igal nga nila almo empower a state mo especially legal state ug namo sa iril especially orior ma Israel niya ma legal holder maklol population gida kum daseng namo sa el ku comes al spread say the responsibility mang mo sa el a state el guk titil handle gigid el guk tora crime al sapla luri sulak.
I say, man masaule Senator Aldabera malungil el point al omega ringi. Ang arsel concept the more the better. Ako mesawan rage kada recognize ringi. Kada recognize ringi was saying perhaps there is talgib el olong sa presence law enforcement probable daw may outlying states. Makada-recognize sa ringil waseng marang nga ringil ang kamital mesang mar adrablo mesang mar pulis mit mesang the notion of having enough has always been an issue. Enough manpower, enough resources, enough ambulance, enough fire truck, enough fire pulis sa ilan man ay tool substation na babalda al time hindi imo al diesel el ngaramal kayo kada manaringi sel ngarang no da kada manaringi issue of not enough manpower, not enough al operable fire engines and ambulances sa BL man ay tablong. So, kada recognize ngil was it's an issue that we have to face. So, important al dome sa los ngarang klela ang aring resources sa BL build on coming from a state rangers angle, and it's a wonderful, very valuable resource sa BL meseringi. Tangaray galbalu elang hindi again wagel blam do require ba do sa legislation was say ngarang ang to what extent that authorized tal marula ngarang klel al enforcement lang, for example core state government citations sa civil citations blabuli sa criminal citations. So kodome sa legislative framework ringil was say if we are going to help al-moringi increase a presence, readily available presence and response ra law enforcement ng legal outlying states mababaldab. Gina de lo mes lo sing makarang adoruran la al mo mastrir segid al empower our rangers, al more segid al authority, and to what extent are we ready? You talked about are we ready? So gina del mo assess so lo mes lo say ngarang al authority the ngul transferring il mura states, and to what extent then direkal to era the issue of deputization na makatikatal to sa daringi back and forth klara bla police kadam sa daringi ak mura or state makadam sa daringi. So and I think though some of the reasons and kadokora dir gamle hesitant to tell tokora deputize means being arming a person adamo obaboes. So that level of responsibility, that level of like tokora storage, do the states have sufficient storage sabiin el store gang take care man dia kal read madakal makasakla. So kadaw manang masenggira dal lang mo start to mesra uspera rangers ra galbalu di kada umral ko sendira kal gina dal mo mesalla alwasay what do we authorize and to what extent erulil ngaringi korawal I don't know what term to use, but that time maringil wasay the train the build ra capacity mo sa edel al fully kada may gero kuyel al national police powers al hand over more state rangers nga galbalu. So I hope that answers your question. It's sort of a yes, but we need to look at it and see what parts can do and what parts we still need to look in the future for.
So lang Senator Aldapel. Maria, ako pa wala magiging Senator Maria question na rin sa Olegeriil. Senator Tabalwal.
Saule chere ako te misal green make mo te ale gurang asulem kiling tel toy telo mut kara presidente del girem e kam de lo se tel gingal obor nyam ge gal gingal kadi ngartia mal mal swara sei makot tak tong isel tigingem mal latak di lilwa sei tia dia kadi bol di gaul tang e bom kat maklil di gaul tang isen dilil to asen commitment tra gaul sing girem lo tel be klaaf e o gesa de wil girela ureret lelakal way sige deng adia kasi elawrol madal man morsel ngaraw ngilo matkem malubang matker bekla mak tuli sige togol ngil o moral man madil wasitya obraw el bekla da girel mo bungem nguso kortel uror sel togol mlam dura gal question so qadim tilgib gora motomti sel aqlawmrar adra atogora kot makle la rabru velaw al sisak sedra sing dom de ngela urur qadim trigibel tomti aqwar al adam gira sim makaranga trigibel si isel toy misel amwatui el madal misel klaumara urur abla police please.
Madam Sola, Senator Tabalwal. Does the public have trust and confidence in the police today? If yes, why? If no, why? Sige damlege. Mixed. Lindakal sa bedel despite taigal bla kada again kada kakarel baluwe mga newspaper kautulo oy dra dolong ulit makadamdeng waseng ngara kuktilub ngaral bulis amlo wangarang mangarang hindi ka sepa di oy titirgal butokol bulis salungil bulis mang dirga ngarinya klaw marang ata bulul gilel tirgay gidel al bulis al tira dirgol tilak lalla dirgol marang ra oath ngilu dirgol marang ra rule of law dirgol marang ra integrity ra urior ngaringi nding diakal sepa ignore tirgel sesay le wadangat tialura rakla bulis ang hindi imong tablong eto mali tiar rogir segi dapat reda la uriol dangaringiling ngurior el cloring out tuira atrasta ma integrity el mosebe el gira malong marang gal adrol taw tatalla al mergaw malsugum kol taw talla at alla al mura ade el sakal da multirak karingi en dia kam efficient mang why say toko el gira dal albang laringi ya sel klaw marang ka patokol bulis sa ungil bulis al madingel wasay ngiral mo rin ka klolurior, el consistent el bekalsil sa lurior, el restore segi del public trust, el tor amatlitur el bebil, en mil nga ra imori rokui. Mang gira dal ako manang alwaseng hindi ka dito pora a wave radio ito dul wasay tirigel mo tilor el mirulay ka ngamla mo mere kalorior. Mela ka domo retial mo ngam lamong wil mo marang rar pulis ngirel bekal sil sa ngaringi visible consistent engagement rar pulis sa labang community ngirel ngaringi consistent timely el response rar pulis el mura report sa lamay follow through ngirel mo ringi timely transparent el teletele leadership ra abla pulis el respond el mura gagid el toqoer al bulis al sumti involved brother accent ya al memel dalla el mede el gid dosadar ngina balu etil kal mol mel do mis til lorior el qora wala kan ala la qada awi adwib abtlul moil maskalel ngilel el sel constant el ti toqora image reflection ra image ya toqol trust when you lose it you can only earn it back by working to prove el wasa deserve sel trust manggirel nga niya MCC community policing means engaging with the public it means foot patrols it means responding to nga niya underage nga apkula Bangladesh store kaya mali maro menda kadita nga lakla de pititria the police kada stop engage ak mo bombre kada doctrine mo may it means awareness, going to schools. It means timely case transmittals and case management. I gel basically urela la police. I gired consistently al bekkal sils. Ikdal mo talmaro la loba level of trust and more self-boringi. And then of course ang aling isel basic was say you are held to a higher standard than other profession. Tagidalla katilmalit talla a police kamil ladrax kamumre kalorior. Oh. So, ngaring igigidal trust it won't be an overnight kind of thing. It will require the commitment to our police, mar har other longra telurior bla police mar other no will other involve. It will require the commitment to acknowledge say we lost it, we need to get it back. And how do we get it back? So seguida se pega el modulil gel seguida el tora trasta
Saul tila mam le blakatak ngira kal gel segil tokoy eklamral tokoy yak matangal tirira tokon gel bulis tiga bitil do kortiang tokortiram naso baklakaral makmate sangar ngi tigel young aspiring officers that they need the leadership to mend the work ikut maklia al sugum aktulityang tokorasu al sugum principal dia kalau lalam, dia kasih lah school madal, mas kuma tantira bela bulisa malalam, yang malalam morar kota ngari ulah mak se real kirel kat magil. Aktong isel tige mengartial se number 8 response ragawe ko malkorat tokol was saying human resource institutional capacity building. Akmal di dong isel gireleng se girel klol tokol kat magil, polungila training. Mangiusul mora adan mokra role skum dia kalungil train dia kada builder adan mom la rel e mring expect ngut mokri selo sa am klad gli liartial dul kurtiang Atara tigimil mora at juvenile. Aktisokan mo iwa pa bilingam le kumdas yang mal bakataw te selblam dali tial hensirgal giri arang lagit. Oyal tangania isyura ngal ganti sendri tiang aklamaral tokoy. Our youth are not the problem. Again, our youth are not the problem. They are the reflection of the challenges in our society. Lack or absence of support systems in place. Makmal dong isagil tokoy leng moral way sa indiriga ka ngal galmela school de sara wala alchisbela school mlen makngit dingal sang set kidara makul adalong raal en tuak lang algid yang mo dia kato to kadagi ya katmo albang lagel mo albang le drudur mang kdulit talba bini maktiol ngito sa segid el bol lakdo besrin tokoy asum ko mo ngatang mortal imura tokoy ndril ngatiang yak support ng isel program na tokora chail kamension at si idi dia kado spir at si idi alta matanga high set le aktir nga ministry mo close ti alblan mo dia ala or adal malaklas due to space issue or nga rangklel dik model mo siya ngarian ng le ngarsel mal malom sa andir they could use high school equivalency ngusay en guk mo ka asimil giri tigel ngal they're bright and the circumstances sa tangal sila so sigida di tokor sel tokora siya potong tangatam obong ebolop kay sa asimil tigel guk ngarsel mo si imlaklas let that would make a difference in their rehab agel mo sa ngartiam sa counseling mga recognize dikti mo lubong la kasi aurul dalbang la obong Dr. Gakli tulto ko ya house divided cannot stand tolngit obong em dalmisel urong liab lain mo urungol mo o taosngin mata patisir tokora MOJ alakal urung rablay enda kasi el metodo no sadra arang liab lubela ngil aulole dalakal plaktak la se ontigel korgaw e ongrul to kasi we do not have enda kasi lurul ngania margin of error. Every person is counted. Arogul imadong spe makmalol ni talaga siya bom tangat mo obong e bom lularang tigel ng lagay ng madam e waisil blam dira siya bom collaborative terwek la tira stakeholders e ta kaing selgut muklityang it takes the whole village to do the job we segide chairman ang sulang
niya o senator niya question wala kami to Senator Whips.
Saura teale chairman. Chairman musube sektoribel didi ingal namini tungin. Ak dimlak sal madangali ni gulme sertial resume attached gumnaran lwasing close to telela the sodi. Namini nasmodi dori 2 years working in law enforcement. Igal adim nakalbali accident Senator Tabalwal. Gatilo Dra Koror Elementary School 1981. Sa idel namin amle stars and adir ka kanda ko dangi. Ding KES alumni. In 1985 and Tilobdra Pla High School, product of PHS. At Tilobdra Mrabram Brigel and earned her Bachelor of Arts in Sociology in 1992. And dim nakadil stop say. Later on, while she was working in law enforcement, Nania TLL attended training in Australia at the Australian Institute of Police Management, and she completed and received a certificate in Executive Leadership and Police Management. Mukadim neswakal highlight tayo chairman uman masawrat tayo. Question na namin niya kamila adra law enforcement naman sumilos pa acronyms. Mila Sabatokar Al-Sitial, sponsor ko. And one of the acronyms you referred to was CBM. Tirgal kuk ngar audience, lang nga bebil madangali, mar bebil dakalo dangali. Siya mas modi ba siya nga CBM?
Ma'am Saule, Senator Whips ra akarim, why say, kung magsubisang amlo dia kung klasil kamata, CBM, a Coordinated Border Management, and it's a coordination of all the different agencies and bodies that have a say in border control and protection. So kadam sa customs, immigration, aviation, canines, narcotics, TCU, Labulis, ang ngaring list of agencies that have anything and everything to do with border protection and control. Kumarang yasera ultuir segid al clau maragid wasay adolisi ira border agid lisegid ya awalsi sa arogul togoringi sumukad masada tokora drugs ing so is drugs ringi, whether that be at the airport, the seaport, or other forms of ports of entry. Ikada masada segid al tokora control and protection ay gagid al ports of entry. Ako marang al sera 2022 ang laring executive order el may establish cell original CBM coordinate border management working group el may list ay gagid al agencies el giril member ngi mamlengar elir basically in summary ang wayal reduce and eliminate the cell gap between ay gagid al different agencies el nga border baby lakadangaring ilbekal agencies ndil sugo mandiakal el collaborative effort tergid maluwin dakal seamless ay kal el processes el dorul ang moe ang arangklel. So segid el establishing executive order 2022 le 2-year period ringi alak alwit mangle expire sera 2024. It was 2022, it expired 2024, and then the cell working group, based on the data, based on the trend, ma-discussion natin at milsal was say, we need to extend this. Gira dal continue extend tiyang, I believe it's been extended sa October 2024 until yung nga rin ako kumotob dal executive order rescind ringi or replace ringi. Hindi ako marang alwaseng klaw marang argidro ko alwasay it's another layer of protection. It's sayida angar LLC olda kay gagid albekal agency mang modya ka gap to share information, to share tokora case investigation, to share resource. Misal dapat kita dim lamem tenga airport rokoy. Misal dapat tenga lakdo misra adra gainain o misra adra customs o misra adra narka. So sayid ya ko rawan na visible el example el was el CBM nga raw rerel. So continue share a data edire el lootil mo na region ma international el was nga ringi sayid el collaborative el management tergidra border mangaring angeso el dangay. Ngaring soldo el dangay logi usegid el CBM el partner sergid maalay sergid el weather and el additional equipment el x-rays and el other resources training opportunities. So ako marang wasa the share aklaw marang rogul was as another layer of protection at the border can only be a good thing. Kada the continue lo mesaringil was say gira dal twigaringi sell up ding I believe sell original content intent ringi ngil. It's another layer of protection. That's what CBM is, sir.
Well, Mr. Inserga nominee, I just wanted your definition of CBM, and my follow-up would have been ngaral to swim ringi. Kam na insera sir ukul to swim giril. And another question would have been ngungila lolmol, and I think you've answered that question as well. Agora de lastel grige chairman atiagid. There's a lot of effort on the border. Kita ngil mtinga sa bli lagalbu sa umrek dal amo mong. What other areas do you feel like you're focus? Is it just the law enforcement side, the correction side? Kamkora miska ka idea was what else can the Ministry of Justice do and address that problem? Radrax.
Everything revolves around the whole idea of being holistic in our approach. Again, I want to reiterate the Luasay, and we've probably done it many times over the past years. Address responses in silos. ang pang masyak that chel makala the sol bringi. Okay, we need the dutal either another level the urab SL chel. Ang patoka drugs okay ngarak mul mo la ang ginedal mo maringal investigate. So we have to believe and say we've been doing that for a while, and perhaps we need to look at it from a different perspective. And over the years, again, aklamutal wakora di wasay a year samral progressive. You progress when you go. Sadak tilga ngara operation sa ngod at tetele ka kumdas. Kumdas will why say in silos. That's a crime. Kada addressing. But over the years, when got involved in policy development, got involved in setting the base and the foundation or the framework of something el musab edel el lorur tertialurior en kadamlo marang alwasay, you have to address it from different angles. So adungura tokora policing and law enforcement, if you're talking about effective patrolling, if you're talking about effective basic traffic patrolling day to day, first, does the community know the laws? Secondly, are the patrol officers sufficient in their knowledge to be able to enforce the law in the right way? Lagi that even gamiu makmlarong sa miumar adrablul wasay tirga adakalo dangalala toltaw tringi. So things like that el wagire de la mesal wasay basic traffic control. Who needs to know? Mung mo sabi adal sel the enforcer sel the stobra adal al full face at interingi. Edak mo, this is the law. You've broken the law, and this is the penalty for such. So that's a very basic example. A while approach at mineringi, like you have to sit and engage with the chiefs, the management, and the leadership. Will say, how are we approaching this? So that can involve you think about basic policing police loya uniform ring loya bosel e patroller tiaraila. A police are involved in raising awareness, engaging with the community. And that increases public trust. Magulang interlink taiga rogul responses. When you engage, the more you engage with the community, the more trust you earn. And the more trust you earn, the higher the rate that ti report del merakaw. Elang direkal dome sa statistics and direkal na decrease a number of reports el may. That doesn't mean alwasing amla lower a crime. It could mean alwasing adam lalo sa trust so they don't bother reporting. So you have to look at all those different things at a policy level. Create the regulations, SOPs, el help para adal taut talurior, el seamless. They may not necessarily know it's about community policing and it's about all of this. So I don't know if that answers your question, but everything is interlinked. You can't do one thing without taking care of another thing.
Yeah, I appreciate the response namin. The key I was looking for was community engagement, and you hit it as well. Dia kamal masaw response ka chairman and the sulok.
So Senator Rips Halelbo o Senator Ramangsaw yo ko elbo Vice President of Senate.
Sulat Chair malungil tasil si Miss Jennifer Serang Olegeriil das Oro. Malulmo el asuler bakal Dios makadamal ngartel mal ngal tangat ter alsil si mal mereng asuler mlam ki isra kodal diga de direct kal malat kra plamora di busra dolong le del Pop Francis narang lungu el girel mangel kuk monek sel polingil tial mo pop Miss Olegeriil naringat el kal umuwe kal babil nge mak mention el marchera o era do mo el wasing teme del mlangara Senate e kadam lames tabek pedenge la response makmlam sawan el extreme dimle ang kakitangir abangal sa direct kal attest dimle yes no ma NA etel babil ngem domes ringir el al akot tel extensible response mla mera madala asenit dengge kitangir abangal mlo umol tra question rangir abangal ndi ulgera imol question emla ringel follow up kadi ngilu esmao del morasel palu rapat telel ngoot tal wasikaw ko setra yel karakteristik ka wasikaw ko at alaat sel omsta traudor ka mesal morsel lungi lurbat telen no omol traigal support letter ar mal batokol matoko dal adra al sel ablur belal blang at eli lowro lo bangem ya recurring theme leadership skills tamal amat trakaw mesang se edong aura leadership skills trakaw work ethic trakaw commitment trakaw loyalty trakaw self-determination rakaw, self-drive rakaw, self-passion rakaw. Modulya passion ling. Tigil na kalotang alta mga ka-chairman ng Palaw Conservation Society. Yakmal ngal tangatal, ikam na umre karak, Miss Olegeriil serve as Secretary Board, Chairman ng Secretary Board. Mula nga elekal kuk tirek kam na oral lobanggel ana professional policy level. Kadadi madangay luwase tukara adal mo misunderstand rakaw luwase mal sisi a personality ringi mal makarang dia ulmak no dola passion sel of passionate talgire la tokoy and you're gonna fight for what you believe in gida bebi rata me kunda se kamo misunderstood kwadim neswa kal kora duli seleng igal tame blado uror yak madangay luwase malang smart. Even though nga pal klol ki karir kau. So October 1981 nga kamil ra January 1981. Sa reality. Ning kal Miss Olegeriil mongul sel wal tirangil taklo si bom chairman ergid emo o patial mamum siurgid mang mal si Elorens. Sub the milo sen kas Elorens. Altang la ako ramal mo takangal eswal o masadar sel lo tangali maswal masadar ngi ding say gid wasing passionate at law enforcement environment maigel tokol talenting la tokol niya sa Mariani. So I just wanted to clear that net takar bebira ada dina ka elil mo dong okle oro lo bangel mga do ringi mo madangali mang say gid ya dim na swakal ruli say amle swakal malkor niya community policing policing ding kay kita tabalwal bangan mladulim se siya wal mla koram le ngararungo ko wasing makarasa pe edel mal lo rol girel sel kada evidence amla o otil wasya dumure nga sule la rubul orior mar other orior mil aliti albul eti gidel mal mlaber kal muray ray mababel dab ya do reng sing it's a success story ray kal batokol state mla adap tel tokorabul mang akamen dral acknowledge lo se community policing mo se elsop aklimiwar nga law enforcement information sharing restore confidence trust adrabulu maldi last chair tiagita kumtas sing telkibol kora mo maringal question madanget tiral o subes madanget tiral antis malmle asker nga klasel ka mo kera maringal question di kumtas wala kritian na kalsikal mo miara kapsingi historically Miss Olegeriil Oro me trigel mora mo vice president ablool ko nga karadrual vice president makadamdangel wasya bebira timing kadamok question na impartiality makukura tetelel al Twitter bebira police compared to bebil ning seloral mo temela sing kyo nga mo kukkaringa kukmot al mokte karingi digal autial tokora Ministry of Justice emla das urtia rurt ringi ambition ringi soal el move mora either vice president or kuk mora taradru al boy question nga ke miss naman ni tiagit ngaringi ako ambition raw el mormur tel mora dru al boy maluban dia
Masaw na senator masaw hindi ambition nga whatsoever tiagi da chosen field nga akla nga ringi more sel ko tal kura babal sa pekal more sel blabol mituta pa nga kamaw da swekal adigal sa pek dindiak diak ambition na nga murmurtal mora any political office.
So lang Senator, masahalil mo nga ang Vice President Senate mo malaki mo Senator Rudim mo Senator Pedro.
Sulay cherate al malungil litasi silor kay namini Miss Olegeriil. Ako tak na disudalo sek na umuwi galbabilingem. Wajel mlamadong ulwase, they're very comprehensive. Tisokal di dula imultoil makatila po sa rin nga undersell tora drugs. Nagdulul wase kidel balu, kidel roguy, elmo loa imath, elmo ruli effort tergit, el dargel a problem drugs el desa. I guess ang mulko niya kasi problem na drak sa mal extreme ya effort tergida de al dargel de al mirror ni why say imlo mas abebil to el manlo detail lo mes lo se ako tengira del mo o assess review agel guidelines lo se gir el ger emergo mo deal with violators especially tigel bla take oath including Rakamam. Directly mo collaborator mengel legal bebira sectors. Morsegi del Lulsadania Tangkal Senator Yabang was coordinated for their management. Elilia word del continuous. Belgola sing agile del diadalutel mo o kawargel was etia de malmol meringin. La will idea. Skill capacity se me puede hacer egire del momento sadera lo hace egire el que blata crowd uswega ay garrol dilo tingaria mal di simple questionnaire experience al dorito years mara toera justice mataloba table of organization Ministry of Justice dated del October 13 2021 el sana niya President Republic, then Minister of Justice, Vice President J. Udo Sabaw Sr. Digo ay sila sa malbato ka vacancies. Pwede bargard. Di question na nga niya adal dong akrulem. Yung nga umanila sa kumlarahel pay attention al maragiro ko yung nahapen na Minister of Justice. Kaya tel mo Vice President temlo magi emlo niya issue la Minister of Justice ng gemlo Vice President e Minister of Justice. Tiyan na mo rin karaging lo niya problem ra Director of Police ma-alignment ra Ministry of Justice. Nakuha table of organization ng lusulwa sa Minister of Justice ako tel ngarbap. Di kada tel line ni malamal tel merat del ay mga Attorney General, ay mga Director of Public Safety, ay mga Director Office of Professional Standards, and vacant all time. Remove ang clear other than technical issue issue tel structure. Lega masada integrity vertical other lower level and assume within the ranking file nga niya issue raw direction raw di aloltira kartial table of organization di alkawomen tial office na Minister of Justice with semen mal mo honest does this model work?
Kadong mo nang alwasa ngidil lurior to be effective, agidil nga rin structure nga. Ngidil nga rin reporting structure, and then kadong mo rato ko policing, more pronounced in other professions is probably policing, not just Anabelaw, but region, Mablulad, cell whole chain of command. It's a foundation that has carried the Ratora policing for decades. Kung manang sel basic el principle ringi el wasengire el tiya orur trawyo el tiyang awrio el ngarinya ranking system ngal sel. There are chiefs, lieutenants, sergeants, officers 1 to 3. Without adherence el more seguidel el chain of command en sabel el more niya chaos. Because sabel el waigel bal mention na Senator Mangasaw ingegray arangak hindi rank garing chairman. E nga ka secretary. May ginakal adhere mo sa gidal rank. Sa gidal klabulis sa patok sabihin nga rin maklol adal hold lower rankings then are magikaril buhay ko, magikaril dil. So the idea, the principle, cell theory a chain of command because it's based on a ranking system and how things are done. Close to trail. Makumarang arsay. At ako raigal el biturga blog the Miracle Gomez. Sabi alaway gigid al duba. Lang lo niya breakdown or say gid al structure. Mga kadulumes ay gagid al bo mention kadukula trial skirt around it, but we saw was a top management amlo ay iday yar adra uriora while blow aloy tedite semla nga impact rin na performance ra abla bulis as overall a deliverable certir ma performance certir amlo nga impact de saringi mang ginakal wasya kung marang ang ginakal malmal marang cell system Senator Cuarte le seguid ya al bola al celtial el organization en chaos otherwise sa kadamo change celtial el rogil idea of policing el modia low ranks sea largely sea determine a order of things and how they're done within that organization mandiginakan mo dulit yang cloud to talela omoltauta omorut tersegi del chain el ngarcel manal kinel teletelel sel sukum ka motivate el breaking rules playing favoritism doing other things en segi de nga mo amplify tial chain el waset tia problem el chain ngedi al deserve el musel promotion and dingal maredler el ang gagi del moringi mang nguay gagi da moduba and then come le mention our the continuous and consistent ay gagi del practices sa daktul waseng tiagi de mandia ka bodot change ringi continuous and consistent tal gire dalo mes ringi was tendir gaurior or do we need to tweak it now what could have worked 10 years ago may not be working today so continuously and consistently assessing and looking to see say ngarang tendir ka work al process al nangaringi but the most important thing to remember it has to be within the rule of law tial progressive development tra urior organization aramur tendin dia kalge limita la nding sabi el tora management el waseng magarang akul tauter tiagi del certain el deliverable ngara mandate tra Ministry of Justice tiagi ngaral action item sa kurul el meter segid el deliverable ay gagid sab el tweak detail legislative framework el rule of law ay gid el maintain. I hope I'm not sabi el correct gibel answering or rather than confuse the issue.
Tigule tsara kulmon. Di kam sulang ula kulgere Miss Olegeriil ngaria inherent possible conflict built into the structure because Director Abla Bulis is the only director of Republic, if I'm stand corrected, the appointing niya president. Attorney General Mangwaise. So sel gisatyal table or organizational solid line what it means to me was a managed in essence they are actually under the serve somebody else. And I'm not saying whether that's bad or wrong. This el portial se next in line and medical chiefs. And right under the director, se lobisra director of public safety. Madi question nga kasi ngaral part sa gidi amora director, ngaral part amora minister justice. And you don't have to explain. Adi ko niyo kasi maybe ang taragel tol gira del mo omes sa republic. Lo say is the right lang. Igual past a few years, gira rogo gira del agree lo say there is an inherent problem or the structure which we need to negotiate. Maktual gira lo say give some thought lang. Kung nasa baby legal issues that they deal with, including drugs, moral, public trust, magaroy, related del more tegi del very structure, adi halaat, structure. So, say the this way, please take into account. So.
Senator, noted.
Ibang Vice Chairman JGA Senator Marco Dima.
Ali malungin itasin se Miss Jennifer Olegeriil. Tira question mo segi del wala structure. Beginning at tegi del term ra last government. It tegi del position ra director amno issue. None other than Mr. Levitre. Kada dulaklel 100 days alut to badil program. In your opinion, malumang observation na karaw lang yaruba kan mutel 100 days. Did he do good or did he do bad on my Minister of Justice?
So, Senator Rudin, I have to be honest and say, was in the mal madingel kung ngarang amle specific initiatives sa bleltay I'm not able to sufficiently answer whether successful legal initiatives or if they were good initiatives. I would have to look at what they were specifically to be able to answer that. Hindi kal time mo diak part of labulis it would not be fair for me to say without seeing what they were.
Okay, I'd like to ask rephrase the question. Sel appointment tra director le bitren marablu allowed mo Minister of Justice. Mle disrupt tadam le really aba la cohesion rabla bulisan mo ngil adam le disrupt ringin. From a citizen's view, kanga outside the omen ringin. Ma moring sila buhay.
Again, without looking at the specifics, I'm not able to give a sufficient answer. But just sort of from a bird's eye view, from a citizen's perspective, ang gina dal ako mo lang nasa kadamasal was ang ngaring algilt maklil takoy the appointment ang ngaring algilt makli. So hindi kal sabi ala sang maknit lang I believe la sang ngaring ablel server ngil purpose for the time that he was there. Gina dal presumably kada kula saying mlebla karung ulal sal multauter segi dal luriol longot mok karingi. So that's the best I can answer without having sat down and engaged with him. Thoughts ringi na igel initiative ma igel luru lak tio missile from the outside.
Yak man saw la kumna sang mal blatakal answer. Appoint tulgol goring as a cell director nga appointee. Dakal political appointing mo personal appointee na daitorio. As opposed to mara national official giran malakngira advice and consent tala ulbira kululaw. Say a difference sa ulo mang ngaringin debate tra wala na mo terali sa mo sa odringi. Dengel adal mo director amola babo se order ra subordinate sa tidabulis. Next couple mention our holistic masilo. Sel holistic of course ang sum of all parts ni rogamot maging ani silo. A question was saying ngaringin sel mo o debate against the blabulis sa siyang moriya syugang artil kung mo atokwa dit mo radong ni obarta malibet mo kadak malibet mo karurulong say yat atokra balum to be honest say kita dori simun malada either tamadak to report mang mo dakal beldong may gigid malubeng paul mong say the disruption gol goringin asen go create travel sangala ko gol do siya mal make sure ang sumo kat mesel holistic ada kal ko bolt mo kat mo class syugang bom karuru ra tolong di mula part tap tokot tokoin ya seda kal dibla bulis ra terogil government terogil amna monia syuga ngaringil sel domes ringi ada nama madak termong adu and I think omogel ada rogo tamo they will agree ada nama madak termong adu ang monia distrust how would you assure the public lo si overtel droal hindi ako politically mo play sides maliba bom momdo ira ada ngara subordinate sa Ministry of Justice.
Sana Senator Rudim Olegeriil. Kadam la discuss at ako public trust and how conduct or more misconduct will impact their the public trust and how they perceive efficiency, competency of the police. One of the things that that we would look at laringil existing structure Ministry of Justice or Walter Gibbon Lumdel, but the intent was good and it remains it remains an important oversight structure. It was called the Police Practices Committee, and we can call it different names, and we can come up with a different name, but the purpose of that body was was made up of a composition that other ngaringi other police mar other balu mar other ngarangal while oversight allegations of police misconduct conductor police so from outside perspective el police police you're right el dakal dito police bekal agencies ra government perhaps without intention yung moringi segi dal kora a culture regi dal kora ubela ringi sometimes and it shouldn't be that way mang segi dal el one ra clear cut initiative. I believe we need to revisit el mo talogisi el ngiyawal bol police at kora accountability transparent to lulyo rabla police nga ringa system ringi mamla system ringi in place, and we just need to look at it and see how we can polish up that system and make it right. And I think one of the most important thing for public trust is transparency, and throughout all of these processes that we're doing the transparent tal murabalul wasay gagi da balul tokol gi morula whatever avenue that may be. Actually, I'll mention the responses was everybody's on social media. Use that. How can you use social media to raise awareness, to engage with the community, more transparent already? So looking at all those different things, even make this the tool, for example, a tool of social media, magradalil mo work, kalgira la policing, accountability, lar police, mo diak tagi del culture lo marta tokoy, malagada ka tokoy. So that was just an example of, an actual solid initiative we can look at.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Sulage, Ms. Olegeriil, kamnak mo 3 man maklobog to 3 tokolu ulang warnyawal, makita syuga nga nagarogul ang other government. Tokora recruitment, a promotion within, accountability, masel tokora ablakarada lang. Wal wara rultra adal saularan din, mamaratan din, modakal incentivized and mrula already. Edi more time in a time out. Lati dawan ra question kung da senggot hiring excuse and mara adro labadro al rabuay. Sel sumo kada mo do ito say. Tibos kama maudo dan di mo ngitiang. We know la sing limited resources ra blur belaw. Sel mo ko you go back in history ra ada di mo ko kadi san ra chega gilulitan mongil. Sel segid al excuse am na mo open mo ra blu. Marangal ka sendak pas ko la ko ska stipend ra. Itong uklong yun ratang. How would you assume mga tato Ministry of Justice? El paska budget, given the economic times, el waisir elang. El bornya financial restrictions. Are you willing to take the challenge and resolution sa kal sumtamaskawa fixed el budget? El mo na kumasing trinda ka wiggle room ra resources. What would be your response and more say?
Senator Rudim Olegeriil. And it's reflected in my responses. Part of the roles at the ministerial level has to be to build partnership engage sa region, international, looking at other alternative sources of funding. Whether akblang na national government, temla mo na state government, and Diyos issue, we never think it's enough. Whatever budget that we ask for and is appropriated, we never think it's enough. So part of the governorship level, the directorship level at core state, ministers level at the national government, part of your core task is to look for other sources of funding to ensure wasn't sub ML supplement their cell. We are going through hard times. Mundial sab edal di wasag di reliant tra national appropriations. So I give the partnership with other policing organizations around the region. El masisi el batokal ang ngaring partnership exists the Ministry of Justice ilang that provide training, that provide equipment, that provide networks at zero cost of dollars. So I give you some of the things that I absolutely go in if I do knowing that tight the budget and we have to work within that budget. So I will continuously and consistently work to find other sources of funding.
Sulang naman nila akulgor nga sa safety raraan diwat tora health matokora rangal tidoring seringi sa sumar adam mora trola sen dia kaudo therefore ka neglecta ngaraala mora safety rarada health rarada ma earlier ko mention siya taraula problem adam ta arusaril direct rolling ito sa sumuk mo lagin mut yang direct mal adlo reng sa tiyan Ministry of Justice adre kal implement malay kagid statistics ragal talamal ma location tir ma age tir emot tirak tir ma brir lo asay adam ma adil tidibus rablay itumran kita mo darangal kal morablay dia ka adring engel adam ma adil adya kal duran dir lo ral to siga ula dalang oklo kargarngi ya kidam logro ra hangra atap sa mga digaw ngayon. At bodole nga niya grandma nga niya adil hindi lang time na mo dapat salway sa structure. Mangkundasyon mo ilal war agenda national. Mas kabo 2 kilometers stelo sige dagala dat brother tricycle fiber radalang oklang. Awul marang lagi na mo start di mga tiwalo. Sige da ko di ko meser ngiye. Kam sulang ra. Al medu em sulang tenwa nomination na dito. Sulang chairman na kamura.
Sulang ibasalbo Senator Pedro, Abril mo Senator Basilius.
Ali malungil litasil se Director Olegeriil. Mr. Chairman, nga kamal yun lang sa tiyal, ikaluel aldadu malmlamawagi kwa sega question sir nga mlamawagi ka question sir nga, but ako rang ourselves committee ra culture and social welfare. So ang kora diswakal, and you have kamle mention ngira walela o mga dadu a testimony raw. Almasather ngilwa segal responser ka amaral interlink review ra why sendi please akmal diswa kal nguwa tigida number 1 question nga in a really short answer ka akmal irulay kal question nga kal motor belaw, so I need everybody's patience. Masel kot akmal limo ger kal wasal suko makamangay el mortal drual yang rasa el makatmok el kilo arang rir other rabulul gira laurio rabli la police tokoni Bureau of Public Safety. So also man sa ML henjing il ang kada nga kakuk mo almutal malmol me chairman.
I do apologize hindi gal responses sa nga ang blool lengthy explanation nga akplool nga ramo dra nga raising awareness mo blool mo sa dato ko. I think ako man Senator Pedro was a we acknowledge that public trust has been impacted somewhat. And we need to work together to regain that trust. It can't be an overnight thing. Waya miltaman lang ram gida dalo otti dalo asemo subesak na mo akmla subes subelek mo mesar nga kalbla karung kor el almong ede kalutel to kind of concept mang ako manal wase kada ngar segi dal lo sisiral wase to identify el key كذا other conservation of target group population to identify el key al dabel ang klobak ta masila balu ta ngari nga a youth organization na kelbalu ta identify el key groups start meet with them uriol abantri el ngu say el level na policing el ngulmong hindi kada med acknowledge sa kung ngari amil tamal do rule tirel el omul el malget ka klaumara tira kita la kada measure sel klaumarang alwasay are we rebuilding it ngira dal kita mong mang ako marang nga mal na mo highly influenced tertial el leurere kalobang gala nga state government where we're down at the community level and we're engaging with different groups and it is so effective kada engage sa our youth ra nga amay kada engage lo pela aldabe ra nga kaswala kada mo mitra kloba ra nga kabasang and hearing from all the different people alwasay yes ang mal kasi bang mamrabla pulis like ang tamlil garang imramam garang how what do we do to rebuild that trust hear it from them directly and I know was saying manal sound el kura ka mga te o with el process ay kaldosa then gira del start gira del momrula hindi ka di pum el solution it sounds hard sometimes holistic approaches are lengthy and sometimes frustrating, but it's something that we have to engage in sometimes.
Ulmol me chairman. Kamaral musulang ring tilagi dia kamsaw ragal kamit taraga ring tilagi da maral waise. El all time akyer ngarar. So na start ta pool. Mang audio rang aringi magkakarel mar maklol the whole community, but it's the presence of a police officer akum daswa direct public safety ngara wisra police asbel wal kora strengthen at telurior ada direct beto katulul oy dalwase tirgal ngara bulla maybe kora cook involve rang Masay kita ko raswa ng musik diba siya ang gila nga pulis alamur taygal balu especially lagi dam lamor nga bulangi mentadira kal mesa presence ra adang nga national mo kora matitul masadang inding wal kora validate already tirgal adre tirga di original di volunteer on voluntary basis so kamsulang I'll bring that up and I hope when you do also kung makamangay please look into that ring akong daswabela wamla mlamot mura pul mangara losi gabe karole lose makarang sabi edal sumokla dalong sumoklak lang ararat at magkakarel mol mutar maklol adreng kita dios pe ang iswaro ko Chairman aklutal a couple of questions akman nam nagyal wase ome mal ready so ay gagida response kal mal moray kal peka questions ra committee hindi nga kakukmlo no sabi kal I think outside the box I don't know the Family Protection Act and I know there are cases rarangal kama yung nga ka omakpe ay kaluriol mera committee nga social welfare. Adim le ko ra, kel ko ra questions nga kasi ngani omomdas yung sabeed el gutmo kasmisi a Family Protection Act.
Ma'am Saule, Senator Pedro, before respondal mo sa di klutal maldi reiterate sa gidan mal valid point el dili el to validation al sugum ng la moring ay galbek kal الإفورت رجال بقبلوا رابول السقوم من داخل law enforcement self-formal law enforcement ada ka presence ring validate ringi and it's an example of working in silos again kada dia ka dome ay galure dem dim leso al acknowledge sa sige del point ra ka validation el kung malclo total sel to ra Family Protection Act malungin la finally after many years ang loringa a legislation that protects families. Sige double all kumula saying sel the Family Protection Act domestic abuse sa double all kumura dila victim but it's not the case. It tel alla address raro kul victims. Sige the possible victims among tanga terseg ilmusib il ngani foresight ra a Congress el gut makli sige dala. Ako man wasing gina dal lomes al tinigal to for it to be effective en gina dal lomes al beyond their sel al initial response al namal tamalala marbuli samong ngayon la report process ragay se transmit ringi for prosecution we look beyond that al wase alla ang accord al wase what ngara options sa sab mo help al rebuild their self family structure if it's rebuildable again ngaring ya options sa elengel perpetrator whether kada kungel suspect whether ang sa ala victim or di la victim ngel suspect mangel victim ngaring ya options sa ilmo ma-help ringi is the structure extended to provide that mal sa elel ngaring ya a resolution el sa long term maybe to counseling, maybe to ko ra urior, maybe to ko ra adalang okla. So adalo mesala say alla abol lutal ko ra mesang elbol ed honor say gidel after we arrest and put him in jail or put her in jail how do we help this family rebuild? Oh, say gida ko ra kisangal say gidel Family Protection Act.
Kamusulang director. Ako direct kalmal la kabay mla enseray kal ku question nga kalmal. So sige dalom so de la a reporting ma investigation process. Ni habla pulis sa kumtas when direct kal el play a key role in it so ndakal matamal la cases sa ma ay lola bal mga court. So kadiri kalmal mention or sige dalwa sige dal baby ranges wal el kukuri ulen ay del mornya maybe fostering home or mang kadolngit talwase obong el bolklo rere malgirel and direct kal aku koram la marula investigation nga kal direct lang niya maybe la cases and moda kal sa arira lang kal yung moda kal borngi so they go back to the system again so it's not and then we know like if it keeps going on nga malmon mulguk maangkal ngal ka maatiadi it's a cycle barrel cycle so hindi ka kita question nga ke makamment pero nga ke Mr. Chairman nakamsulang naman ni
sulang Senator Pedro kabong pasidus
Jennifer malungil itasil sa marpekla adal ngarar bay marangar tiar babel kalayri ako mes mal beto kara adal nga supporter kau saya ootia a family support el mortia luriol ka morngin malobreo de mringra so you need people who are behind you directly el gil no maskau say gidel el gora support moral support a shoulder to look unto ra family mar friends sergau man adra ureo ako mes tergal adra ureo ngatang ter adra amerita material other start tira adra plabulis el which and fall under umbrella na ministry may kagita karik magera awase akot el clawl issues el mlamo mreger serakot el tilurtial nomregal governmente el mlekate patte megal ngara alsel ndi malmleklo issue ratrak samang komatengel wasyar bulis amlay meng lorngi hearing ertir in fact a minister at justice el director sel time malmilu sel melwase it's a crisis So munsaygi del tokoy luaseng mal crisis at tokoy ratrak sa rabulur belaw. Machel mengtara issue. Mamora lararat lawrio rabli labuli sa malmlelo. Ager Miss Jennifer awase. Sister Jennifer naradro gatim tengek mulase kada related. Hindi kata kapula kara al sel tiang lek mudang al kaw musel greeter kawati wa greeter ngakal. Di nga ramalamal. Makahal ko ker. Me el angaw obong el minister obamuti al duruan. Way kala tilo kwarte ngaringi ya. Amin ang kay kita le AG. Eko ngaringi aplila ministry, ngaringi direktor. Makarasel obil tersel moral. Almo otukur tialurior emo tarang dirarat et makalurior ulsal baikal issues.
Mamsang Senator Basilius, Malduwagal dilo nga Senator Tabal wala divided house cannot stand. Ityang kadam sa ni like I krila abla bulis and I've even heard as recent as yesterday that historically abla bulis am level all divided. Those kind of things. Mang kada umarang alwase like kabe kalurioring alakal klo ang ara aldungul masang angel alwalong takla raurior ngirel angel mga tak raurior el setter sa gida standard a standard that ma implementation raurior agirel again consistent amora lamo impacted when hindi ka consistent application datoy. If you're applying a certain something in a different way, then the same situation will go differently. Se impact na moral. Also kung hindi ka transparent, an example a promotion or other transparent, accountable to a system that shows the criteria and meet promotion, then it impacts moral. Moral impacted also kung wala raw riyor, malukulawan na tokoy, ito masarakan marurang dal tokoy. Different things that impact their self moral. Tel tokoy divided al blay, sabi di na kalmasang other organizations, sabi di imo lobis di five other nga divided. Merabla police with over 150 employees, sabi divided. Ako marang alwasay at the set at the ministerial level, which ako marang sa policy development, a full largely nga ministerial and directors level, ngilal mo oring policies that clearly talks about ranking and promotions, that clearly talks about disciplinary and adverse actions, that clearly talks about a system of accountability mo addresser sel tokoira ada di follow up pagay sa til mo ko give up. I gamin dire kalginan mo ring policy SOP salwasay. Once you get the report, telang working days sa mospe to get it to this point, mo transmit ko ringil mo ra AG's office. Sa AG's office, adire kal mo ring accountability ringay. Telang how long do you need mospe ringil review tiyang file ringay file for prosecution. So I gigi dal kadangara maklol policy el molmutra magagrel SOP that driver cell system raudira every day ay gemot mga rokure impact ra moral. Ngirel mo ringa clear policies, ngirel mo consistent application na igel policies el mura arbeklad ada mo accountable el mura everybody has to be accountable to something and to someone RTL structure. So again, sometimes it's easier said than done. It's easier written than done. Hindi segi that task at hand. Algumarang ringil wasay. Also makadamaral commit to it, no matter maybe it'll take a while, but maybe we can start the wheels rolling at ultimate, and they'll pick it up and continue. Okay, so sige da.
Sulang Chairman, Hindi po koramaliti at Jennifer. Yang kang aking malgaw at ngayon aking mga alkalmanan meklo. Oy. Yakal karigal moringi ako langit temen tiakal tirgel talaw talma malngararbaya mo hensir nga kang yagirel hensi. Hindi tiagit at Jennifer tiagit apa bilangem lamay el 24 page lo oti ay gigit el butokol el hensir kaung. Matiagit el 24 page el babiera agi pa multuy ringi. Le sukum kukuk mongal tangat mangay etya agi pa mo banglo. Olsi ay gigit el urerem. May gigit el kuk talentingi laurior el kasuaman mo el taut el ngartel babilangem. Yak matangal kaw lulurior apli la pulis. Makamatang ali alsel laul may kalkarik o kaw ra tele la moral ma how you form ay kay ya obo ula kulker kamatang ali apli la pulis em laringil telgebel magteket iraw om kuk pumtop hindi papilingem lame ya o oti aklaw ngir kaw maklisi madu or karor makmal lo oti seigit luase hindi mlakal alwida adal milil terkaw mortal position. I'm pretty sure you're very qualified. Agit yolngit rakal taring ngase omkuk obong etukuk tatakalurior matseremen kamam matial blayra senate ma olbira kalulaw rogi eda address tial issue once and for all ra alsel ewarak raw era kuk pon ngariya senkyo mulukuk lamoy te kam ekuk titong itak radio sisul toy adangi kamal musulang.
Sulang Senator Pasilius, halil bo o floor leader and then el bo Senator Talamse. Dahil tawlale ko rakaw mga kapapong Senator Talamse.
Sula floor leader sula chairman. Malungil tulyal se Miss Olegeriil mereka solemn mo sabemel accepted your nomination. So mereka solela president mo saben nominator kau. Hindi ka gora question gora pastor action kau blam rule. El saber gora mo uspe el gora scrutiny sa lak motial dual lobongin sabem maluben dia. Maluben gen rula kira den mo question agi den nomrelem. Gumesa egal background kau. Yak mlarmen sa tikingan. Kung na-mention ngira earlier el gerela set process a reporting my investigation. Legumesa tial structure kau a Ministry of Justice. Ngari Office la Attorney General. El tulul sel Office Attorney General. Direl ngani sel Office la Professional Standard. Ngari Bureau of Public Safety. Ngari Division of Patrol. Ngari Division of Criminal Investigation. Ma Division of Transnational Crime. Ngari Narcotics Enforcement Unit. Direl ngani Division of Juvenile Justice. Ngari Division of Fire and Rescue. Ngari Division of Corrections. Direl ngani Division of Maritime Security. Fish and Wildlife Protection. Iratora complainer of blue oil. Other report crime malubing incident. Police mo investigate. Mal the process. Yung na-mention na nila earlier in Mora, puselable mereka investigation at summit rin more officer Attorney General. Ako na sa egal resume rame mga title time ng Bureau of Public Safety. Ng Russell o midsang ang kuram na hindrance sa the process. Madsum mo. Yung ngaran sa emel magut mag-claim ng mreedal. Ito the response malum in prosecution legal cases. Ebon talgibit elaborate ang RLL maurelela Attorney General.
Mamsala, Senator Talams. Moving forward, doon misal wasang nga nga sa edaruli ang improve el system nga ringi. There is a system in place, but like every system, and sabi dal improve ringi. a security rablo, effective law enforcement, highly reliant at timely response law enforcement efforts rigid. Whether ang sel mga report ang sel timely within 5 to 10 minutes sa kangarsay or ang timely case management sa gidal malkoringil wasa kam lang mga case investigate rin kam lang as a witness statement temla ma evidence irulya supplemental report ang mura Office Attorney General. Same ang cloud titrel el impact ra security rablo. Giren moringi a clear-cut, consistent application and implementation raigegi del basic process and run aurio rapid calcils. There, al sukumindia kari ilang, al kumulwasesel mga guys, ikungo, ingarang average a number of days, ingam la mo gidel muratabel la chip, el review ringi, el kumula mo sufficient, sign of ringing mo obis AG, then it needs to be done. Also kumandir ka kadome sa issue ra kadome obis Attorney General, el nga Ministry of Justice. Kadome sa kadamo nga assessment tel wasay timely prosecutions and timely case filing. If not, why? Nga song sa attorneys, nga song sa resources, what are the issues that we need to address? Again, actually, kalwadik nga rekrel, umes, in the past 13 years, but I've remained close with Aurior, Rablabulis, and I engaged with the Attorney General. One of the things then, all recurring, lolokoring say tang songs, attorney. So, looking at that, was makarada release, ng songs mo, diyan ng songs, if that is impacting la timeliness ra review agay se file mura schedule la court mo sabi el prosecute tanggal el adrad tanggal yung sisiu el adradrax el dirga kada dirgo bawan lagay singing ako kumut telopte emrawan ay gida at sel giretel better. So kada a lot of these things require policies and SOPs to put in place consistent supervision lalong wala alaurior and make sure was say told out. Ngal patrol officer 1 ang ilutal guys ngang remurtra al sel tel faptay sel window gidel maruringi ngarang uspe a help gidel ngaringa check mo where are you gidel gidel magagel process to be in place. So magagel tokoy tat namot makarokoy namo impact tel overall efficiency tel organization. Things that we think are not important, but are very important.
Solange namani I hope ibubungilan si Bemel mo implementa ilang. Kam le mention at nasin ngani asot albebi atame ngani asot titsra obisra Attorney General. Ya gumesra la in create ra obisra special prosecutor. Es el lobista special prosecutor independent lobis. A task el gerel investigate e prosecute allegations of violation of the Constitution mala arbela. Especially tirgel agalorera government el gerel misconduct ma corruption. And then sebel lobista prosecutor special prosecutor prosecute ang nil dil violation ng la arbela. Ngaral de swem el girela coordination raurior ra dolong lo obisa Attorney General mo obisa special prosecutor. El mot magalaurior el prosecute egal cases ra plur belaw men se ve den mes aurisal terni. Embalo el wado bodo blame kalau blame ra accuse obisa Attorney General et mundial luanin ngaria ndiang det mok laurior lengaria sotisra Attorney Satir. Ngaria ko swem se el mo coordinate to lobangela obisa special prosecutor municipal mok legal cases.
Mamsala Senator Talams, ako marang and you absolutely can correct me if I'm wrong, ang tukurala. ang nga separate la establish ra obis ra special prosecutor Michael nga alel to sisul nga pinako dal establish ra obis ra attorney general within her cell structure Ministry of Justice Michael nga alel actually kalumrang alwasya Aigel el diakal initially el clear cut al waigel blamdul was saying involving government officials or other things that might be classified as mura arena a special prosecutor nga rin aigel baby ra case el the file office attorney general el sugumang review nga rin a possible conflict ringi as adralla ra ka national government el longura ringi ang mga duro bisa SP transmit ma al more bisa SP, so there is a coordination rather long el waseng nga girel nga kaw mga girel nga so perhaps sa kadal adil mutal mo sa specifics ra la alwasen seb edel make it better if it needs to be improved, but there is a system in place.
Ako ngit namanimas kung mga maungili po momisasi tigdal amo last tel isura draksa mal namo klol isura blur belaw namo spera traditional government belaw impose sabul galbekel belu ot mama kumongal tangat magmo Minister of Justice CBM request a president to declare a national emergency girela drug crisis Legon rat nasin CBL ada declare belal la emergency drug crisis in CBL prioritize our resources in mora law enforcement. CBL magut maklisay.
Mamsole Senator Dalamsa. Nakawamrang nga say anything is possible when it comes to ensuring the safety of our nation. Kadadiri kalumrang alwasay. To reach that level requires a coordination or a legislative body, ma executive branch. So, alsugum komar segid al-dadu, suffice alwasay collectively as a nation, declare at yung state of emergency at tukuradarax. I'm behind that. But again, it requires perhaps more in-depth collaboration between the legislative and the executive branch, the office of the president. Determine what factors and involved ang makodong itiagi ang trigger of ang resources al trigger. But again, I am not above any solution that will, especially in terms of the drug problem in Palau.
Sula tigdala mo last day Chairman. Akmal diyon ngito masum kamongal tangat. Emo mesa ududira law enforcement ka. Request appropriation ilgire law ududira police. Tigero gun law enforcement. Kawira bo peritian may sero mga dudura president mo o Minister of Justice. Nariya long dudu ingir kaul. Londas yang mo priority raw rele mat sumo kemotial duruan. Gagire mo magut makli.
Saule Senator Talamsa. Betul to kaya giblam adadu sa hotel bring upper tiang. Ay gidel dos isul to dos other tiang. They're all priorities. In summary, it was also with the understanding it was to be effective out there, we have to fix the house first. Walong marangal dire kalway nga kalwasay ngidal smisi already the gidal enforce ala first. So I get kul kora gaps, may gel kora mo batak lalurior ratel law enforcement body itself. I get the prioritize al address mong musab edal effective la deliverance ri gidal mo rabalu. Di gay gidro kul plato sa datang amal priorities al direct.
Sula naman ni. Lagi dah chairman yang sula.
Abang Florida.
Ali. Manungil tasil se is Olegeriil nga algon dia ko ngodo selongo do trigal beklad maigal ngerra morung komla mortialo bisum kungara oversight. Dikora orang cycle ngerra girela igal tokora drax. Edire kan mo dulisel executive order na creator sa igid nga lasel nga border Akora di wasese koram lam sa brigam name cycle ko result tawri ma recommendation tir ngara kora aigel lo singem agire del mogut makli nga ko sa sel su kumay kal drak sangara outside del mengire del abay tekker aigegi del border aigegi da abay agire des misi auror ngi akora di amda sa segi mo bangel segi del gera dire kal sel kita mandangil wasi kita tidak mal kora invite turista igal bekal belum May mengbetok igal charter flights in May ngare igal tidak recently ngare igal reports igal drugs bel kan tidak lulupte emra laba igal drugs ngare igal skogil ngare igal bebira belul mel gumda sa igal belu tidak betok tokora drugs ngim igal tidak mo bebira part of recommendation wasi kal lungil lungul lagi igal flight so da tirgal top to okay kal men dil sum tola bay gay gidel mel nyame mal ra ngal ge da kwa titmu gay gidel wasal sum mo ang gay gidel bibira issues lagi del mo mesra mom lisir telur airport sum to adlo airport man muto igal kay na en dirgal di met mo ikang mo bringal waseng ra wala iga kadam kra di mo da kadwa sending mo el mera belum segi da kwa di komen di soal duli ongerung asel tokora org chart tiada ko nget tial ako ramne mutul toko hindi nga ramong asel create igal ministry tablol create mo blol nga tool bureau sangarngi mo sabira tigal terul director sa report el mera minister andera ministera report el mora president mong kora morngia sel sumendiwan na bureau mendiwan direktor report mora minister minister report mora president ng wala ko ramo dia ka amos eliminator either minister or luben director di alasel gumesel or chart ng wala ko malo brada ang lelengal director igar roguil lo sengel maktira lo ngitro si obal sum ngori al sum moang mona tebe mo dura president direkal mo ngese mo mesimi gam tergibel ko ra mimbi segi ngara al mo ko ra tergibel mo beota ang la director matrigel nga ungel el reporter mergaw man kora mo ngila ay gagi dal to kora urma ay kita ka dio mes hindi nga kamal kamal imisel ngila igal responder ka moral beklado mo sulang
ari kilo kami tangari ang el question el mora il senator senator Inapo.
Sulang chairman malungil tasil si Miss Olegeriil malmereng asulem kongel mo ortal appointment ra president kalwing la setya maldekal albeo tulurior ding seldom sa talwer sa merakawe kamlangara law enforcement talmal mga time makumda si kamal madangalia community rigid ma igel bekal challenges as a nation ko ta face girela law enforcement rigid especially tel drug problem mal la ruli drogul ko rati mo bagik al girela security ra balwad ma especially ako ra lusra ngalget ma akmal kora thankful alwase background dargawa you have a bachelor's degree sociology dirgal mla sir ngara Ministry of Justice kamle omu ngara prison rehabilitation counseling makamal madantri ra ara speanges mang akmaloreng sila Senator Talam sing lo mention ra ako ta special prosecutor alwaya kawak mula sing between a special prosecutor ma attorney general also mang agay sa di kalsabel Attorney General al prosecutor ngileng ngaringi kura a conflict of interest malubeng involved government employees engirel mora a special prosecutor. Di iswakal loger sel القوى مصب إمل الوثيقة مقراني السقومة investigation case دي غير investigation level مرغونية يا employees را Ministry of Justice غير conflict of interest ترتير whether family connections, whether they have business connections, whether they have other connections المرار other ملغميتا crime mang ديقال سبير fully investigated tal case. Sayideng in that instance sayideng diqal gira dal by ask a special prosecutor may take over tal case investigator ngi emos el prosecutor ngi leng kadamal kikar el baluwe di ka adal adamang al bebilan di ngara investigation level lamo o talgibal maring la argita gut makliagay sengul presenter ngin ma attorney general mo prosecutor ngin ma akti iswakal askal wasyal sukumang sebemal mo Mr. Segi del tarayil collaborative efforts rakaweng la dirikal sabedal mo sabedal mo pa bebiray kal drug cases al forward mang akmadingel basing Segi del organization structure hindi ka direct al authority rakawal mula se tamgarang bata akmal lumrang Segi del commitment rakaw ma passion rakaw lawyer al girela public safety ma akti only talwasable sebem lo Mr. Say. At the same time awan regal response rawe kawasing malungi la the improve access al mora counseling ma mental health services leng bato kara armagikarel at amo involve by gel makitromru la drugs ma crime letiral ngaringiya a trauma ma stress ma emotional struggle sertir mata maluspe anges para ay gidal areas mang kadal amal maring adasto vertiga rogul foreigners el moster tira Dakal moster tira hindi ngaringi tira oltua a drugs rabalwat adi karole la the closer tial el border gid malakal bel tuay al klalo and then I think if you can really dedicate time al help ra migarel adal mo sabir el make or sell right decision al basing ngara impact ay gal mora klangar tir yang amal mo sabel al help regidal al bay ngwa dimandr mo gegre mang mo dia kapal gulay gal bel tuleng mo dia kata spend out det al lo mesa ay gay ma akmal di segida answer nga ge untigal wasing how do you akumda you would be aungil almal sab emal mesay gid al issues la you're in touch with the community marbutol other belaw di wana karik el Olegeriil singaringi ako ra kul mesay kal question sa committee dimla ka sal address ra conflict of interest code of ethics possible kurangan niya mo compromise awal mo mula relem as a minister also kung mga mortal drual nga niya ko ra sabil mo conflict of interest el kawagirim lo ay singir ka mamro ra el girel tel appointment ra sulang
Sala Senator Inabo yes, couple of things will be mentioned. Nga legal responses in terms of juvenile justice reforms. Ang klog tutulala segi del intervention at trigal youths at risk that may face mental health problems. Trigal sabed intervene at at a stage where hindi al progress mo o criminals mortal criminal system and the apal galbus, and we have structures in place sabed al milisi collaborate within the ministry ang Department of Juvenile Justice where they deal with juvenile delinquents and offenders, youth at risk within the Ministry of MHRCTD, a newly developed division called the Division of Youth and Developmental Chief Chief Sylvester Alonso. Why gagi the existing structure sab ilal coordinate at mga Olegeriil Banggela schools ma hospital identify trigan ngal at risk man sabiil nga intervention rather early stage prevented till man dikalbol career albol policies bra system selto ko era possible potential or possible conflict of interest nga ka piikabulis Lieutenant Marce or Roma. He's a police lieutenant, currently in Hedra Security President Websa. Kadamir kadokoram lamo at length al masadra org structure. Blila bulisa live and breathe on the chain of command. Mang one, he is not in my direct line of supervision. Atletara Uriol Algurut Taringi adhere to the chain of command as much as possible. Mang atoira technical line, he is not in my line, but if there are instances where realistically and giregal address ringi, I will always have to weigh the degree of conflict and recuse or other alternative ways. And there's just no way around it. He's my husband, he's a police officer, potentially sumakmo Heather Cell Ministry. We adhere to the chain of command, ogiwa supervision, nga rules. And then I on a personal level, you just have to know us. We very much respect each other's lines. We've been in this business nearly all our lives. And there's an inherent respect alay na nga kamalay na ringi mga alel a different whether nga core state rangers mga nga national police, it's you just have to know us. I'll say we've and then we continue to be aware mulwa say the perception. There's always the potential of a possible conflict. So that is something that we will and continuously try to mitigate and make sure we're transparent, accountable. Auriol makatmok lal sumong koramo ano nga possible al koramo involve ringi. So that is what I can commit to. That is what I can say to this floor. Was say it will not be a factor in how I perform my duties at Sumak Mortel Trual. I hope that's sufficient to reassure mula sa other than that thing, diya ka other potential conflicts sa kwesel.
Kamsulang, I think in professional. You do your work professionally. We trust al kulasing al sumang mga ringiya a issue with that thing. You deal with it al ngarsa professional level. Dila sa questioner nga ka actually dealing with drugs foreigners sel bilet identify tigal kotal vulnerable members ra community gid usually young people al-quradir ko kasi they're trying to find themselves ita mastrilo sa vulnerable mata they offer them a better life while sab ilmas tira udo the mga rangklel tira kurat talgibal masong saringi algo maka matigal waseng ngariya way kaigi dal wal koram lamo dominant el force al sila community gid mang it's like it's another way of country acquisition or something like that, right? That tamal ruli dal mo mitu tawda swed and mitu tarungu that they can do anything here. How would you kora handle ra waigegi dal issues makaranga make sure everybody are safe mabalwada safe from that kind of makitalom rural ngararungot al may sulang ra malungil at sirakaw.
I'm sorry, Senator Inabo. We are a nation of laws. Giredel الأمول المرة our visitors سرقيد مبلو الأذل وسيقيد بلو لولا ngaringi a justice system رقيد malsukum kada waigay gidal molgol wasi kada identify ay gidal tretail ya kada mo mesala al wasi nga existing al luud al sabeed al lolabel al loltaw al tirgang al ultimately the stopper tir kada al tober tir again different ways of eliminating that problem. We always have to go back to the law. What are our laws in place? Tial tretay lang ngaranga elements ringi mulut kalbudulat potential violation of tiagidalla and what steps can we take investigate the prosecute the stopper sel tretay a lot of ngaringa baby akla mentioning it before we're dealing with a lot of sort of advanced crime that 15-20 years ago we might not have been dealing with. We're talking about human trafficking, illicit drugs crossing borders, and things that we were not dealing with 15-20 years ago. Perhaps linked to more organized crime. We're seeing a presence of activities on island that can potentially be linked to organized crime. Mangire la response rigidal and namo advance. Namo gire del address investigate at a little bit more advanced level. Namo gire del at technology. Fortunately, recently the namo member Interpol mong namo sabedel privy to information and data of possible red notice folks that come through pass our borders. Namosabe share gigidal data other activities that of undesirable people within our communities. I gigidal namogidal mesa I gigidal comprehensive law enforcement efforts rigid ma justice system rigid el advance lo bangel ay gal advance crime today. Ay gal basic policing tools rigid ma basic investigative techniques rigid and dirga sufficient. Fortunately, and Telblabuli is advancing as well. We see them interacting with the Australian Federal Police, with FBI, DEA, and all these other folks. And Interpol is a great investigative tool. Those presence possible organized crime. So we always have to go back to the law, Senator Inabo. We recognize something and we look to our laws. Is that a violation? Is that illegal? How do we address that? If the aim will continue to run rampage through our communities, we go back to the law. Exist. Let's make the laws to make sure it was sufficiently secure, safe, abalwat.
Magi mo mangi legal suggestion sa kalwa sa ngalalato rule sulang agim gangi.
Sulang Senator Inabo nga niya el Senator Alpo Senator Singino.
Ano kung di ako ngudado, hindi laadital nga kadira katam kung ngudado. Malakto siya kamun mukmas yung kurangan niya. Conflict na karang clean.
Dia malungilitasi se director. Ako te agure nga sulam gire la telte al mo sa may makukuk present yourself professionally. Lagi di mga adu ngani atril tokol black aris raba bilngek tiktar ba bilngek aldi aris. Tokol commitment. Matokol discipline. Matokol consistent tayo kita atril tokol kaya da di kulo usul. Consistently di mot. Tatsa kita atril tokol. Ya kung umdas yung OTC del professionalism nakakaral sila. Leng nga di ba kamadangal ka background nga kukto ka sports nga daw sisiu ako dis akra coach ra team it's the same principles lo tralo level help permi ka rel adal o understand nga rel ak maloy geleng kami tirgi dra Senate ka community youth and sports ya ko sabi bilnya me kamo hita bebila tokol nga alsela ay program sa dabla alsela tokol outreach program after school program tinigal daw ik masih kada sisil tilo dra Goro elementary school tilo dra Palaw high school sociality mature ka arts hindi nga ako kumula sports so ako sa similarities ra tetela present yourself and medro si syungi mayal guru ra tukrak lohol di ga kita wana siya single sokal Goro o tirgara ugul de swel girela at ngani sel larang abar del 3 strikes and you're out. Leng akora relate ringil mura sa ko start lo ra to sports. Guru ra program ra Shell House Rock 3-on-3. Tianga dire kal adal nehara nga kalo develop passport sa dire kam masarang rik mungra makmurura program ra Shell. Endim lel dasok maset tirga nga adal waigit. They need help. They need people to come in and spend time loban trir. At task force sa diri helper tiril cope loban gala rogul talamal helper tiril mo understand ayal talamal work their way out. Sila gi maru lagi program kitira adra Australia matmal selsay. Tano masarang rir sel lelo basket ng tirgal. Kamadang lisa al selsay. Less than half court ngani adobo ngani ado el malinget tianga omo ulogom kubura program na sports eta ser kadala la kit tol sa emrwak lo im sa emel lo bep tulumra ado sa emel hindi tiral ada adjust el mortial environment tir etriga rogum na sa program ngani committed murderers ngani drug dealers ngani dire lul treb ngien mringla kapsinya hindi nga rin mga adam na alsasel dire. Asal ko ome sernil tong okarteng yung tabartel program guru ringi. Tirga rogum na sige program na sports. Al anay 5% tertir a productive citizen sa ilang time. Hindi nga rin turtir repeated offenders. Yakala amatang alterir. Everybody knows who they are. Yakalil bilwas. I feel myself look masay. Ako ramle fail. Even though the program ako kumle help pertir. Hindi seguido o singit esa Palawan kada. Kita way seguido al adle kada. Kita it's el moray kantila tokoy o sikrolele o mondal girele. Ak malgorngi lang seldangara ay kal timpala to. Ito ko ra consider adra yun sa kadok masindi aktriga adra yun so kuma ma-other belaw. Ngaring sige the pride again. Because you're always thinking masing makarang at correct tayo problem na bulwaf. Maunong selbo kulukor tayo dal tokoy ak momda surti tayo dal ngara bulur el time. Tayo dak last weekend dagi mnara real bulu. Nawan lagi kalel boy ka momre ka lunch time pagi ka story. Ya ko galing masikaw ko latal mo na ice. Pala admit ko si oyak mlamalay. Musay ka makarama ngarama ko free. Alis kita tinggal free. Ngarinya ada lo masang free. Maktimil lo koring masay. Ali hinga o maksar kau mo smart yak lalu. Esel bla bom sarngi, eka mo okya ka ngi. That's how it works. Maksong algot. Esel bom sa eka mo osigir ngi. Maka mo marulat tala, mo maror, eka mo makarang. El morsel addiction ako. Sige sel, aun makora mortel 3 strikes and you're out. Ako lingit mo ko sel sumukumongal takat mamil. Dire kan mga adu arbulis work together lo sigil mas ngara ungil policy sel kim katmok lo eng help permiro radio help probably wadal dire. Sel 3 strikes and you're out ako nguy waring lang deterrence. A primary goal is to deter repeat offenders from committing further crimes by ensuring severe consequences for subsequent offenses. Sige dapat lugul sel 3 strikes and out mong actually ito mas yung abong maltangat mo umilte tegi del digim dilli. Al kurang nga policy change el umandaswa olbila sa helper kauma agency over al sel lugut maklaw rede please feel free ol ger kamam mara tablet ada du etat maklala o helper ada rolod. Sulang.
Sulang Senator Sungino. Ang niya po kita Senate President mal gara pebirager.
Malungil itarsil sil mergawe Jennifer nga kadak member kami tim awul makmal molas mo kala amlarmen sa aldadriar Senator Sir Rogoy tel mo Ministra Justice sa Olegeriil toy ete yataraigel Ministry tel Governmental kotoklo ang raalil leng ngongra rather stalad mabalu mapelaw rogir mal mringel lurior dirga ka adal more tel Ministry Justice el raigal guk plak nga governmental daater ngi blol dingar niya angal sang sel ngal sang serra o mga dredla ngal sang sel en diakal sebel rulia ablila pulis el mitaigel ngar lera rolela akar ngela blur belaw e include tel tora drax dirga katal ministel moringil solbert yang dirgal domisir tel el chartra ablila pulis e attorney general ang are ungem ma direktor ang are ungem ditirga dia kam appointer tir tap ang president ta appointer tir mang dirigalo senegal na momregal government ya minister ya attorney general ma minister of justice al baby that time and they don't get alone emo blame each other attorney general kadomi sa igel geisel mo diakal mo bokl malubeng mo hita adjustment ngi eng blame raw reler bulis lo siar bulis am no diakal rulang alir mo agi fail prosecute el morsel up to the best of our ability direkal domesra director mod a management ngi ra minister of justice direkal mo ngia klakakapos ra rolela direksyon raw reor ka direkal masatan nomregal administrational appoint ra director mlomrega other belal director ya president appoint ra director adram rigel en moringa difference ngi ma minister a justice lenguk ngaregel ul sola minister a justice el morabla bulis mura director wasay ka girel masbok luangrang mga masbok luangrang ya direktor ak buningil wasay ka dim lakam appointer nga mang mundi akula direksyon ka ay kita does mlangaringil happen mang undi akal betul lurior tel leng nsipa emel mong ya adomis ratcherta attorney general ngar eungem di omdurngil waseng makarang eng sebel murgal waseng akar eungem di dimlakam appointer nga ndi akureng serkaw ma direktor mong sebel murgal waise ya ikal murgol medale rung sigang ekdi masadar abla bulis mang I hope peng ya direktor ang artiang mang sebel meng saikal blamreg al molgoy mang musabel gut maklablia bulis al moraigal tol moruleng ay ka mal dinger lela direktor blam saudal momre makariga legor ka si kamakaray kan bench ra president mang modiak long dreder gaw raw lela direktor ma attorney general kamongir si
Mamusale President Paules. Aigal atel or chartra the tilineate silwasing Minister Director Attorney General is the technical structure. I think include to talel sel aldadu mo umaral at clarify wasing align daigalurior. As a technical structure, akmul wasing appointed by the President, hindi nga structure, akmul wasay tiagi dia operational structure, reporting structure, then sige dagidil adhere to it. Mang akmadangalit tial wasing because I was part of the organization. Alo sa directorship bla bla bulisa imong al directorship al appointed nga president. And they had rationale for that when they established that. Ma Attorney General mong appointed. But it is within the technical structure or tel org chart tel under Ministry of Justice. Now, aktong okertiang egiregal consult with angel mo angel appointed nga kalwasay. Dagi daklaw maranga nga kartiang. They are within this technical structure, the org chart, and that is what I perceive it to be, and that is how I intend to roll it out. Do you have a different opinion? Kung marangal kumulwa sa ngar segi dal org structure, al dia kadil lul ngari seringi, ngira dalol tirak karingi. Whether by appointment or by civil service, dil sugo mangar cell structure, el girel waisay, esegi dia kumarang arangil wasang girel reporting, operational structure. Segi da ang hal girel segi dia. Nga ka umarang President Paulo sa say girel Olegeriil blakatakla a structure ringi, girel a reporting structure, ang wangarang alageng ksel dapat tokol adal Olegeriil imol organization egal tokoera prosecution egal tokoera policing predominantly traditionally ng male fields al suguman dia kal clear sabihin aggressive adang ngaring gira dal clear cut the structure mong warang oratel Olegeriil. If I am mistaken ngiril mo corrector segid, but sitting here org structure put them under the line of supervision of the Minister of Justice.
Ela Jennifer di regal madangil wasing tianom regal administration ng nga time organization na bla bulisa waya amloklo arang lamura olbira lulaw mablur wala Olegeriil el nga chart el giret el follow en waya blola el follow tir matungwa leng waya segidra blola ka director matamlo change ra director within tianom regal administration cellas del rak en tungwa director mlodia ka director mutungwa achibra fire elmo assume Olegeriil la director el talbuil ego kuma achibra narga elmo director el talbuil ego kuma achibra marine law elmo director mengway albor nga confusion al sila ablia bulis mamoral ablia bulis amlo way ablo lakalungil leng awa lungwa achibra patrol mo director albol director en enga experience ra patrol rangara luirak malbol director en hindi kalbiot tultoileng director kumla mo supervisor tel bla bulis rokir ngoy albor ngi segid law damara al sila bla bulis matadim lo tamlo raigel lu relir el dia ka luaya laka expertise tir mang sel bolo ay sel bla bulis mo gegre moral mangya mo dia kal bok Olegeriil ngoy ablo la kal bru Olegeriil tel bla bulis le alangung kal ngara a fire el gukmora a division ra narga e albong ngoy alak sel ngoy alak longul ngilid ndi ngkadia tuwasikadia mo dong litel Olegeriil ela kama mga dere kama mlamo ngara atru rak nglu rak ngartel Olegeriil e kama mga dere kama ngaram leul de sem lo Olegeriil segidel management of the police lo ay say
So President Paulos, fortunately ang mga director of la police. We look at past things and like in everything else, we always have to see los nga lessons sa pwedeng mal walk away from make better decisions. Dimlak partner sa gidal teletal mandakal sa bekal answer was say why decisions were made that way, but we are grateful al wasing namuring dedicated al committed al director of la police al lamudong okraging alelo o mesay gidalurior, so people can be in their specialized field al waygel molgok machibra fire machibra patrol waygel specialized areas certir. So al sugumak mong tangat makmong continue lo mesaway gigid lo say magarada continue builder say gid structure malakal lutal mo happen away gigid say gid sa bekal duli hindi black partner say gid decision making cycle hindi ka acknowledge lo say ngaringi able impact ringi mang magarada move forward algo tiaka lutal happen away gigid.
Okay, elang kita menanglia presidente lo say appoint ra director malsuma president takmura director el wase nga kaswak umung gagi del Chibra Fire el Morangrang, esok umungat Chibra Patrol el Morangrang. El directling mga dura director lenga appoint ra director. Kumakara solver sa gidel issue al sumang happen.
Again, kada di mo adhere el mora technical existing structure, a chain of command. The expectations would be that the director has to consult with me as his supervisor in accordance to that structure. Unless ang change sa cell structure, directly the director has a duty-bound obligation to consult with me. A chain of command, asabi ilakot ng maredala, al skip para ang next ringi murang ariyo. Hindi ng ariyo ng order, agirela low ice ringgel maredala ak expect tra director of la police al kung marigay gidal al incidents ang apply sa gidal al ula chain of command umarang al kung madang ali al ula yung leba soldaw.
Sulang chairman, sulang Jennifer.
Ano nga ako follow up nga kamo last question nga kamo. Namungin? Okay. Ano namin ni Mima sa seraran may kukiri ka last question ng lamo lang alakra 2 hours at ang artyam mo. Mga sulit mo na kalorang araw ma kalorang arbekla adaro ko. Ako tel gari ke enamini akmas yang ara kamla deputy director of la police tokal adam na ngwe memla director Core State Rangers tokal adaro bang Agel pastel experience kang Russell umamis seringi laseng Russell malungil kudel will leader eng Russell ko tulungil ngarakil quality ka girem poses kadims mal bato kung makadims ka tun trim dito.
Well, I think one of the most important things for a good leader is to be consistent. Get him consistent to be a good leader. And then you have to be committed. Whatever the task at hand, hindi kal matter a close task kal gakaril task. Get him fully committed to whatever the task at hand is. And I've said this many times to the police or Sirak Ngabla police and to the rangers. Dahil to ko na consistency. One of the things, malungila initiative, malungila effort, but we fail to be consistent. Mangsegi di ako tanblewal ko raklo el issue gi mo sadar ngi. You come and you sit and you decide was singalawngil el toy, makadumol taw taringi, hindi suko mandi kal consistent, hindi akabalungol. So consistency and full commitment to whatever task at hand, ay gagida ko maseng maklo to talel.
Okay, msulang. Ani ako namin inertial confirmation hearing ya ko get question ring ila say if you had to go back el marshal motor mo minister gamle reappointment what you with ngara na siya improve ni. Awan ra tokol dilil apantinak ti kamda soringa se. Ngire kan mamudu ulo ranks. Raro kul adal ngara eungek. Do you think saying more quality ra ngil leader sa elo ranks?
And so, yes, that's a given. That should be standard. They're given in part of package. And something something that I really have picked up and worked on over the years. Progressive, to have progressed comes with the understanding it was say kadorings orings malay mang addition to raudaswa ma improvement so it's standard they're given hindi akal liliyak tial tokola leadership. It has to be a part of that.
Okay. The mul morsel ne ken me question raise Senate President Paules. Akmlame sarala ang Title 2 ra Palaw National Code ra Section 105. Ablakatak al mulk mo kawal Minister of Justice. A Ministry of Justice ang oral represent Blue Bella rule legal actions. Matokor AG ang ari ungem. Direkal kawal Minister of Justice ang oral ay rule toko ra safety, ma welfare, ma protection or other below. Ma Bureau of Public Safety ang ari ungem. Mangalta appointment ada ekong na present appoint ala chain director maluming sige Attorney General. Digum no sam blakatak la bodo ka odangi ikaw tiyan lakmu. Attorney General, ma Director bla Police ang ari ungem kan minister. Sera one regel question sa lil gorkaw. Amli askar kaw maka rank ka thrill phrase. Akot, kamiti ulgar ka la si sila obang minister. A loyalty rakaw. Ikaw rank kaya del thrill loyalty. Loyalty rakal mo na our other belaw. Loyalty rakal mo na President Abdul Belaw. Malum loyalty rakal mo na rule of law. Kamiti ulngiter ka si kapa oba ay kay borsel kotel el close to telel. Di close to telel 3. Di kamrang ka sel kotel close to telel maral medyo. Maram na answer raw.
I ranked them was hotel loyalty nga was to the rule of law. Ya onge loyalty was to the people of Palau. Ya onge they was loyalty to the president nga appoint nga.
I see. Manse mal promise sa tial committee ra JGA lang. At masi obo masumag mga tangat makamangan mo Minister of Justice. En tokoy matakoy politics ma politics. Di ka gira man mo tira clear la mamokte karala. Sa mal promise sa me lang so karong saw.
You have my full commitment.
Okay. Next. Ko remember Ardi del Mary Ann Flaca. Akmadinga siya kamadinga iling. Adala ka adri ka bulis siya kadri ka adra administration ng kel. Radira huriping am local bus. Ni traffic eyes. Akorta ni sentence ng 25 years le larsel time. Akma siya traffic. Da exception. Kamo sois ba 25 years. And all time over the years am nga change rala. Naman nga some discretion na nakargril. I'll get a sentence or other first-time offender. Manso ka logera ka tidalgir. Like narong usira a press conference Attorney General. Again, Attorney General Morio ang weltang. Minister of Justice. Nilulk mo afang ye malubatal adra asina. El serve 1 year, 18 months. Hindi kabla kalbus, expensive ra kama magipay house ringi. Hindi me agim sa plea agreement tal di 1 year, 6 months. Takadil fangi. Ano nga, at least tal mo pa adra JGL. At least ang 8 tal af. Al adra ngo blue cheese wa blue bela lola ba gal maknitik klal. Ading ila 1 year, asong osra 2 years. Yara nga ligid, sa lugar abla kalbus across the street, a range of sentences from 8, 12, 6, 7. Opo Minister of Justice, o mga Minister of Justice. Sel policy kamalmol maringi.
Again, ngirela response efforts rigidal mirror ra urgency ti aldrak sa blabo da dung crisis. Al sugum takmul wasay ang mega pre-agreement leng overcrowded at jails rigid. So it's a cost reduction effort. I'll serve 1-2 years at the sender tier. We have to look at the wasay nga messaging. Tokora, if you're gonna look at
Deterrence.
returns,
Deterrence. Yes.
also kung saya message sa manera region na ma-international wasay adabong ang sabiedel they're reducing costs because their jails are overcrowded. So 1-2 years and we come back, I'll take that chance. That's not a good policy. Ngira del sometimes sa kado sigak mo obere me mamkay watit hindi message sa strong al mora outside al kumulwa say we have zero tolerance. Di was Singapore ang mga drug trafficking ang death penalty. So I understand what you're saying and I know not fully to the extent of how we implement that policy. But sel in general, nga kaumrang alwasay, ngirel al dire kaligang al sentences rigid and how we carry them out, adire kal deterrence message and sabi al deter, continue the attempts to smuggle drugs across our borders.
Akmaskawa related al morti ay del case. Patokol time akmadingan si kamdingan sila deputy director and patokol gida request ra awlo American may gida countries with extradition treaty lobangid al malara ar athel mututak matulup te emertia lengan nga case tira marigel ako ay sa newspaper makadamdingi fangye Adel asina lutorawa makite claro. Emil godira adala bitar ewala ang esar etugut kur. Minul godira adar tial orior etugut kur yang ulmor ewala momeles beringi tamti geringi arbui. Ya belura marigela ongi talo ava godoreng sa si ongi tamni la se memelaringi. Mangosi siul toko la se Pere hale dodoro clean mo abelu Amerikel. Wais ide teletal, ide el policy. Mukodira ade tukutkur. Aigen ngungil ol hotel ang MCC el judicial system ra palubeng justice system ra blur belaw. Obong. Are you going to change that?
Al sumak mo Gire kalomes at mulwasay, what are in place and are those policies beneficial to us? Al sugong two-party involvement like you mentioned, Lwasa Marigel, ang aring vested interest ringil malaringi, ingire dalomes sa prioritize ra interest rebelaw. Is it to the best interest the judicial system rebelaw? Aldor kadinggang, osmari, panis ringil mura fullest extent of the law? Or will Palau benefit more if we go a different direction? It's difficult to each individual case. Say what is the best beneficial option for the judicial system, and then always remember, say intention na Allah al ngaringi ngaramla intention ringi. Hindi kadukukti that tweak ay gal best option here and there el mo tamali selmle intent tala. What was the intent of the law? You kill someone, you go to jail. You sell drugs, you go to jail. So looking at those things and looking at that whole picture. Again, I apologize. I'm not able to give you a specific answer. I agree. الثيوري رابالاسيل وسي قتل من لا من جريم المتياجي ذا بالسم. You have to look at the specifics and say what is the best interest of the judicial system. إذا هم تمليسل intent ترسل. Hope that sort of makes sense.
Yang why say lemle beginning lemle ke last couple questions sa kadilo la say lo el tirgal mora rule of law lo el tirga mora moktegra la algot. One of the things sel obom as a public kawa amil talmo Minister of Justice kamo public official. You're going to be what we call a public figure. Ka mang close to telela kamiti sa los sumumro redel mesa igar rogul comments are other. There's always two sides to a coin. Ending dia ka wil tol waisel kawame yang ramadala kamiti mamadala blur belaw emo aisra asel klamarangal el doswem mangirgaw magada mo mimok kal senkyo la sendim la ka kora parotol mal ubam le maknitel toko el mlara dimla ka loker ngi mal uban dia. Matial question emis Olegeriil la bla ko ker ngirgaw so ka honest el ensel lek mngal ensel gaw ndi kumda so ngila adara sa kamiti pedregal polo dangal isel ensel. Then that's what we need from a public figure like you as a leader. To be honest, to be frank, and more importantly, to be transparent. Magira mal simple. But toka questions rablu lase. Raul Mlodiam Deputy Director of Bureau of Public Safety. And I really need your frank, honest answers.
Ma'am Saule, Senator Nakamura. Hindi simple. May happen na through the transition, outgoing administration, my incoming administration. Ako kumil sa kama leadership rabla bulises Olegeriil more a different direction. It was not us. I give lo through a process and then I stepped away. El guk mo osig el wasay nguk ngal area sa bekal mo ring serve. Akmal ako state el continue serve in law enforcement until today.
Ida ayer makmutul mo last te alna Mr. ngidil senator man alaken kung bokong simir tial hiring madal waiseu era dong simir Miss Olegeriil pakung ate alan ngun maskaw mababom duy ke last slam ma rungulem okore boktu pugulngitra brother Senator Basilius mbolom te erkamam mo mga simbre ada coming Senator Basilius. Dia ang chairman asan dia ka-conflict mo.
Oman Saule. Chairman Nakamura, Maradra Committee, President Baules, Vice President Dr. Corte, Floor Leader, matirga kami rogul senators. Akman man ang asuli ra tial to be here and to be frank. Lololta the share of das possible solutions. You've brought up I think 24 pages. Okmamakmadong oklemral malusay gero gulo dasway amo 48 pages. But I wanted you to be able to read it, actually read it. I understand al kulaseng maring al appointment. It's a difficult, complex, challenging ministry because we deal with constant things. There is no real clear resolution around the problem. Ay gang based what's going on in the community. It is not an easy ministry. And with that full knowledge, I fully commit. Al-Muraigel, al-Ngaraalel, maigel responsibilities, ma-obligations sa ringil ngaraala. Iakmlak mo, Diak tong okortyang tukmong solve ay karukul problem. Solve ra overnight. But this I can commit to. Akamit elmo blakarungok. Lauriol lo bentri ra rukul at. Madangay lo sendia al selbol malaka 4 years. Ng adirgado solve ro kuy. Hindi ka damalat kalwasay. Together we can start the ball rolling. Al sungo makadaputa right al policies in place. Kada malap kalkumutar ng alagad. Let's start it rolling. At tirigal mo giwalet. Adimel mo tal militaringi. So, sige da sabi kal mertiyang yakamit tal mo ringi. To be a part of the solution. Ay gel ko plak lagay kaya nga kaya gel real plak nga ringi. Perhaps I can bring value to the table. Sige da kulat ka ringi. But I know lo senda kal sabi dal mo ultaw taygay without working together including kamil adra Olegeriil. So I ask for your support. El badada kalorior. Let's get the ball rolling on this one. Isegi da soal duli akmal man ang asuliw. Eurang asula la Dios el gerel teal al sebe edal ngartyang and be a part of our nation building and solving our problems. Kumal Saul.
Sulang Jennifer mar peklaadal rokuil ngarakalari matirkal ngartal ngararbay rangkal al namani ra supporter kamiu al morngi edirekal kam sulang al direkal supporter kamam al senators al direkal omes rangkal namani mamalang araykal al papilngel ya processor kamama hagirulit taygidal kamiti hearing ringi ya kitir kamor olbi logi wai kay kitir kok tema mara sesyon ya kok mo omes edir kamomru ra kamiti report mpol maklorong miwe aure orang arngi ya ki mo mulmol mulmru sel kok kureram al adr olbi ra klulaw makmo ogi wa a chairman ra kamiti marokul member sa senate mertial kamiti ra ang senator na kamura direkal mo giwa president tra senate ma vice president tra senate quartay ma a floor leader gray marior marbekal senators mal mo nga sulem retial kul mga telatay mara hearing agi sa mariar mga tutur ka wa un mga tamlo kamangat mo takangale agi ko puro lawreram ya resulta di metwa drurewla adange musulang